What's going on is basically we want to, I think all of you probably know, this was a town dump for about 30 or 35 years. Before that it was a limestone quarry. The council stopped dumping here 4 or 5 years ago and they were good enough to cover with topsoil. The question was what was to be done. And we felt that we wanted to do something here that would be different to anything to be found anywhere else in the world. We wanted to do something that would say something about ourselves and say something to the young people of the town that we are worthwhile. It's a time of terrible economic recession. Young people have no opportunities, there are no jobs there, but at least it will show them that they can have some pride in themselves and that we are worthwhile people and that we're not just focused in on ourselves, but we're looking out at the whole world and we are trying to create here something that will be quite unique in the world. The basic idea of it is we wanted to bring in a number of themes. We wanted some sort of European theme because it's 1992. We wanted to bring in some sort of literary theme because of the traditions of the locality and because of the presence of such distinguished gentlemen as that fine figure on my left there.
Talking about me again, Peter.
And we wanted as well, because of the terrible problems that have taken place on this island over the last 25 years, there have been 3,000 people killed because of the terrible things that are happening in the continent of Europe, in Yugoslavia and places like that at the moment, that we wanted some pan-European team, something to get sort of the people of Europe to come together and live in friendship. And the idea we came up with was we commissioned the leading landscape designer in Ireland, a man called Paddy Bowe, to design this garden. He has divided it into 12 pieces, one for each section in the EEC. There will be a bust of a writer from each country in the relevant sections, and the focal point of the garden will be about 3/4 of the way up in the centre will be some sort of a memorial to those who died in past conflicts in Europe or who died in the Holocaust, or some overall theme of peace among the peoples of Europe. And that's basically what it's about. If the only other thing I would say to you is if you have any rich uncles or aunts or friends who have deep pockets, please ask them to put their hands in their pockets and give us as much money as they can, because we're stone flat broke at the moment. But this is a cold day in November 1992. We promise you that in late 93 or early 94 you will have in there the most beautiful garden in the world. I would ask John B. King if he would just unveil this, just to formally launch it.
John?
The graveyard behind this is already almost full to its total capacity. There's no necessity for any more roofs to go there at the moment. Just one story, I came down here one time years and years ago with Michael Quinn and Brendan Behan. Behan was described in an article later on by Sir Wendy Kerryman as that great galleon warfare of genius, gin and generosity. I think it was a fellow who was in jail with him in the column. But I also courted here in my heyday. My beloved spouse and other lesser creatures long before she arrived upon the scene. It was a beautiful place, and I think I take off my cap, not for the first time, to the Rotary Club for their splendid efforts on behalf of this town. No praise of mine would do them adequate justice from their beginnings. I had the honour, in fact, to speak in front of me, and I think this is the ultimate feather in their cap that I hope they'll remember. Having said all that, I now declare this Garden of Europe officially Anybody any requests or anything now you want to send out? This is going live on Radio Kerry. No, there's no rain anywhere.
Singing and dancing in the rain.
Singing and dancing in the rain. Yeah, that's right.
What?
I thought they'd come in this way. That was wrong.
I thought we did.
How do you think we're keeping the grass green and wet?
There's plenty of vitamin ammonia in it anyhow.
Was that the 18...
18612 I says the
I
one.
put it on my grass recently, I suppose.
Big hand to the man on the bagpipes. Danny Hoolan, ladies and gentlemen. Cycled all the way in from Ballybunnon this morning, it is. Bagpipes in the back. I think we are sort of nearly ready to commence. I would like to, ladies and gentlemen and young people, to welcome you all here this afternoon. A very warm welcome, I might say. I am glad you have put on the thermal underwear, that you have turned your back on the medieval jousting up in the Listowel Square, and you have made the wise decision in coming here to the Garden of Europe. We'd especially like to thank those large number of people who came all the way from Dublin, especially for the event, and a particularly warm welcome to our two surviving members of the Holocaust now living in Dublin. Give them a warm welcome. Today is a day of commemoration, and it is also a day of a celebration of the human spirit. It was 10 long winters ago and 10 short summers ago that we were all last gathered together here for the opening of the garden. This afternoon we have both winter and summer within the same hour. And the inspiration and the fulfillment of the dream of the Garden of Europe lies with Paddy Fitzgibbons and the Listowel Rotary Club. And I would now like to call upon the Listowel Club President, Rebord Pearce, to address you. Rebord.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all so welcome to the Garden of Europe. This is the only public monument to the Holocaust in Ireland. The ground you're standing on was originally the town quarry that limestone blocks were carved from to build the houses we have in town. It then became a horrendous dump in the 1970s and early 80s. In the early 1990s, with the blessing of the Urban Council, a committee comprising of John O'Keefe, Paul O'Dowd and their genteel chairman, Paddy Fitzgibbon, was set up to convert the town dump into the fabulous garden that we have today. As Minister Mervyn Taylor described it at the opening, one of the most fabulous examples of reverse environmental destruction. Over the 10 years, the garden has achieved numerous nationwide awards and recognition. The Rotary Club of Listowel is too modest for me to list all of them. However, over 10 years, we all, quite a number of you that I see here, were here with us on the day, and we all left and we rejoiced. What a fabulous amenity we have in town. However, it laid on the shoulders of two people to continue to labour here over the past 10 years, and I would ask you to give a big round of applause to Carmel Fitzgibbon and her husband. In the 10 years that have passed, I'm sure everybody who was here then will be asking, gosh, what happened 10 years? In my own life, it has changed. I've had 4 children since. And I would like to welcome today 2 particular children, Zoltan Zin Collis and Susie Diamond. These children are now all grown up, but they have witnessed the most horrific human suffering imaginable. An Irish paediatrician, Dr. Bob Collis, and Han Hogerzeal went to work with the victims of the Holocaust. They worked in a hospital near Belsen, and Dr. Collis describes the first times that he met Susie and her sister Edith, and also Susie and her brother Terry, and Zoltan and his sister Edith. And I will read this because it's very informative of how shocking things were. On my way around the children's hospital one morning, I came into a small ward. Here I found Han with the most entrancing scrap of humanity in her arms. He appeared one great smile. There was very little else of him. The fever, typhus, had just left him, his body wasted. Terry and Susie came from a cultured Jewish-Hungarian background. All of their family had been murdered by the Nazis, and their mother died in Belsen immediately after the liberation. Bob described them. Susie was very weak after typhus, and only just alive. Terry was a splendid little male. He was only 5, but he nursed her, and literally would not let her die. Zoltan and Susie, it is a huge honour for the town of Listowel to have both of you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Robard. As Robard said, the fertile green fingers of Campbell Fitzgibbon are only surpassed by the vivid imagination and the literary outpourings of her equally talented husband. And I would now like to call upon Paddy Fitzgibbon to address us with a few well-chosen rhythms of poetry. Paddy.
Thank you very much, Danny, and you're all very welcome. I have a little poem called Primo Levi, and it is one marvellous virtue. It is extremely short. And Primo Levi, as you probably know, was an Italian Jew who was taken to Auschwitz late in the war and actually survived and wrote some marvellous books about his terrible experiences. So this short piece is called Primo Levi. Choking inathurable, he watched the drunken sons of the son of Cronus, half adder-fanged, half ichor-veined, staggering towards the mimesis of birth. Clear-eyed child of the rubble people, he knew that Auschwitz was forged somewhere between God and Derrabog. Thank you.
I thought, sorry, Paddy, I thought you might be going to read another one, but I can do it here for you. All right, I won't be as good. But, I didn't write it. You who live safe in your warm houses, you who find, returning in the evening, hot food and friendly faces, consider if this is a man who walks in the mud, who does not know peace, who fights for a scrap of bread, who dies because of a yes or a no.